Hello, my friends, and welcome back to MTD North America. Today I'm with my buddy Sean. Now, normally I will introduce you to a company or some projects or what's going on, but we cannot do that today. However, Sean is incredibly familiar with the Nakamura machine. Sean has a bunch of them. I will let him say how many he has. We'll go into detail about that. But what we're going to discuss today is the success that's come from working with the Nakamura machine, even though I can't share the details with you, which actually makes it kind of fun. So Sean, thank you so much for being a part of MTD North America.
Not a problem. Happy to be here.
And so, again, we can't talk about some of the details because it's kind of a secret. And we work with a lot of people that have to keep, the cards kind of close to the chest. I know you wish you could share it, but let's talk a little bit about how many Nakamuras you have, why Nakamura, and what successes Nakamura has brought for you.
Yeah, so we set up a new plant down here in Arizona, and the first 4 we bought was kind of like a testing ground. So we proved that we could do what we needed to do for our company. And from there, we went and purchased 8 more. So we've done that in the past year and a half. So we've been growing steadily, growing the workforce, but it's a tribute to the machine's technology and capability, repeatability, all of that. The biggest thing is just combining operations on these machines. So going from an operation where you have 3 setups and 3 run-offs and everything, you can go to 1 setup, drop complete in here. So that's been a huge time saver, and our product's just high quality without wasting cycle time.
Yeah, and that makes sense. So I'm going to do the math for everyone. This is the easy math. 8 plus 4 in a year and a half. You got 12 Nakamuras in a year and a half.
Absolutely, yeah.
The methods guys must love you.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Most of the time, right? Most of the time. Yeah. So you mentioned a few aspects of the Nakamura, which I think is kind of a universal concept that people understand, in the sense of when you look at this machine, you're getting quality off of it. So with that, with knowing that, you know that when you pull a part off and you pull a second part off and you pull a third part off, there's a good chance that just that first one needs to be measured. So maybe you're saving a little time on that redundant measuring, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the simultaneous or multitasking really has helped us a lot out with how we machine our parts. So, anywhere up from 40 to 50% of the cycle is now absorbed on the second side. And with that, every time the part comes off after we've dialed it in, we can trust that part's going to be good. We have a lot of true position callouts and things like that we have to maintain, tens of thousands and everything. So this machine, well, all our machines in general have been able to produce that for us. So,
and you mentioned multitasking a couple of times now. So, and I know we can't go into actual part production, but when you talk about multitasking, you're talking about these twin turrets here, the ability to have, the spindles on both sides and being able to machine simultaneously different parts of your product, right?
Yeah, so I mean, we could have gone with different options here, but we ended up going with the 2-turret option. Simplicity of a lot of part changeover, low volume, high mix. So we wanted to not scare our operators with all the things going on in the machine. So wanted to basically separate it so it was basically 2 different machines operating simultaneously. So we focus on the front, get all that dialed in, then transfer it over and do all our fun milling and everything on the back. Most of our cycle time is absorbed on the first side, so anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes per part, depending on complexity, material, and everything. But yeah, so we've been able to take essentially anywhere from 30 to 40% of a traditional cycle time and cut that out. And everybody knows time is money, so that's helped us out significantly. Our customers are happy about it. Our team's happy about it. We're all happy about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, time is money. You mentioned 30 or 40% of the cycle time. So there was a time where you didn't have the capability that Nakamura is offering you now, and you had to run maybe a single turret and a single spindle or something like that.
Yeah, we'd have to go from traditional, first turn, second turn, then mill operations, which requires multiple setups. Then you also have setup scrap at each level of that. And then finally you go to the mill, and then you got to have fixtures and everything for it. So having a sub chuck in there and everything like that eliminates a lot of fixturing. And we've gotten pretty crafty with how we measure the parts now and getting away from hard gauging. So it's a lot of cost on the stuff that people don't see behind the books. But at the end of the line, we're about 75% lower cost when it comes down to the books is what our previous process was.
That's incredible. I wish I knew more about the details of what you're doing. I wish we could share. See, I knew it was going to be fun. So when you're talking about this machine, right, and we have an interface here, do you find that somewhat user-friendly for you and your team?
So yeah, I mean, a lot of the team is used to the standard Fanuc interface. Everybody loves that, right? But even with that, everybody's that we bring in has been able to train in the new interface. I mean, it's a beautiful setup. I mean, you're able to see everything right on here. Touchscreen. It's very app-based, which is where everybody's going. And everybody's used to it. I mean, even my mom sends me emojis now, so I'm pretty sure everybody knows how to use these things. So yeah, it's been pretty impressive, and we can pull up quick statistics on what our cycle times are and everything. So our supervisors go through and figure out, this is run a little bit too slow. We got to make sure that this program's updated, or the speeds and feeds are right, so we can produce a good part in the time that we need to. Because we've got to make our parts.
Absolutely. And we know that Nakamura is flexible in the sense that we can adapt automation or bar feeders and really create that lights out type of manufacturing. Have you had the opportunity to do that as well?
It's actually a great opportunity for us with a certain customer. We had 30,000 components we had to make, and we made them in the span of less than 3 months essentially. And we were able to utilize lights out manufacturing, so we had to get a little creative with how we did with the bar ends and everything that came out of the machine. But yeah, essentially we were getting 125, 130%, 140% of our productivity rates for those times, and we're able to deliver to our customer 2 months ahead of time, which this customer is not used to, and they usually want things yesterday.
Or most customers aren't used to.
So they were really happy with that, and so we keep securing orders on those sort of things. But yeah, the lights out manufacturing was kind of a big thing for us in Arizona. So we were able to get that started with we started out with just one machinist, one process engineer, and 4 machines, and it started just all the spree programming and everything, and all came together. We were able to produce a lot of parts in a short period of time with one person. He was employee of the month for 2 months running.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to reiterate that, but you kind of did it on your own in the sense that one process engineer, one machinist, 4 machines, right?
Yeah.
That to me is something that we need to continually convey.
Yeah.
That we can do this lights out machining. A person can run multiple machines. We can get more parts out the door.
It's how I would say, for instance, that contract is against it. We're going to outsource it, and we're actually able to produce it in our factory 20% lower costs than the outsourcing cost in those lower cost locations, big countries, many bells, yes. So yeah, we were able to get those costs down to even better than competitive, and make it here in the United States, which our customers love. So.
Costs are down, cycle times are down, shipping times are early.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys have, even we don't know who you are, but that sounds like you guys have really nailed your part of the process. It sounds like and you're going from 4 to 12, so obviously it makes sense for you. In that growth, has the Methods team really supported you on the service side of the project as well?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of a funny story. The only reason we ended up with Nakamura is I went to one of our sister divisions in India, and I saw they're running a bunch of WT-150s. I was very impressed with their process. And now they're able to run some lights out machining as well. And I said, if I'm going to get machines in a new facility, they're going to be those. Anyway, so I went to start up a new facility. I wanted to see who was the dealer for Nakamura's, and ends up Methods Machine Tools 15 minutes down the road. Wow, that's convenient. And I have to say, tribute to them and the team and everything. I call them up when something happens, and they're there, full support. I've never seen so much support out of a machine tool supply company ever. So it's been fantastic working with them. They're almost part of the family in our shop. So everybody knows them. Everybody comes in, we greet them by name. It's the same thing. It's all good.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, because we do a lot of polls and try to understand the audience and the customers and the machine industry as a whole. And typically the number one thought is quality, and the second thought is typically service. And it sounds like working with Methods, you have been provided with both of those things.
I've definitely worked on the other end of the spectrum where there wasn't great service, and I won't mention any names, but I want to make sure that we were covered in our area, and it was just so fortunate that the stars aligned, and they're literally 15 minutes down the road. So that has been a huge impact on us maintaining our spindle uptimes and things like that. When you run into odd nuances with things, new machines, you're always going to run into something. Nothing's ever perfect. They are great machines. But yeah, you always run into small things that you got to have to deal with, and we learn from it and we move on. So it's been great having them close. Well, right next door.
Right next door. So yeah. I have to ask you something a little bit off of machining,
okay.
But I'm curious. When you visited India, how did you like it?
Well, it's a very different culture, I'll say that, but I was very impressed with at least our team and everything we have going on with our factories over there. I mean, the attention to detail, the engineering, the brains, I mean, everybody's intelligent and just working hard and diligently every day. So yeah, I got to see all the manufacturing stuff. I was there for work, so I didn't get to go out and venture into all the fun places. But yeah, no, it's definitely eye-opening to see a different part of the world and how they function as a company, how people interact with each other. Food is definitely different. So yeah, I had to get used to that.
How was that the reason I'm asking these questions, and some of the audience knows as well, I've spent more or less like the last couple of years back and forth from India.
Yeah.
And all over the place there.
What parts?
I mean, I've been from Mumbai to Pune to Coimbatore to Bangalore to Chennai to Leh, to Delhi. I bounced around, done the food thing.
You speak Telugu and everything?
Oh, no. Oh, no. But that's why my curiosity, because I also experienced a very similar reaction when I got there. I knew going in that the projection of the Indian market was going to jump from number 12 to number 5 in the world. We know that there's massive growth, but with that growth of technology, was the amount of quality still going to be able to be there? And I learned a lot as well going over there. So I was curious about your story also.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time I go over there, which was once so far, but I plan to go back once this pandemic is over. I've learned so much from that team there, and we work together hand in hand. I mean, it's just, they have so much technology development that I'm unaware of, but then we'll work together on projects. I mean, there's a lot of cool things that we've done with these machines that a lot of other people don't know about, but you can tap into these things and create some, really interesting processes that yield faster cycle times, higher quality parts. So, I mean, it's been a great time working between them on softwares and hardwares and tooling and everything. So, very communicative, very helpful. It's been a great time working with them.
Well, if there's anything that I can do to support your team in India, guys, here's a nice segue for you. I will be heading to India before too long once this travel situation lifts a little bit. So if I can support you and your company when I'm in India, I will be happy to bring MTD in and we'll do another filming there.
I'll call up my guy Ganesh over there. Yeah.
Sounds good.